Greetings everyone, Craig Hester here from R2AWatches.com. That's right, this is the inaugural video for R2AWatches.com, our new URL address and our new website. We've changed the back shop and how the site looks. We're trying to make it more user-friendly and also, we hope, a little cleaner so it's easier for you to find what you're looking for at R2AWatches.com. That's R2AWatches.com. We've also changed our name and added watches to the URL because, hey, that's really what we always have focused on, or at least for the last, more than a decade. R2A has been all about watches. So we've changed the name with the URL so we can focus on that. We're also going to be adding some new brands in the future, and some of them won't necessarily be from parts of the world that you're accustomed to seeing us bringing watches in. Specifically, we tend to bring in from Eastern Europe and Russia. And speaking of Russia, this obviously is not a new brand. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is one of the first brands we ever introduced to North America. This is Sturmanskie out of Moscow, the first watch in space on the wrist of Yuri Gagarin. But today, we're going to be talking about not space, but water. Not watches in the atmosphere, but, well, depends on how many atmospheres you want to go down, but watches on and in the water, specifically the Stingray, which is a true professional dive quality watch. Now, before I get into this particular one you're looking at here, which is a brand new model that just came out, it's one that you guys have been waiting for. It's the first time, just to give you the main thing here, that you're seeing the full Lume dial with the cage bars, the cage protected bars. And by the way, those are not removable. Okay, so that's why you've got to pick which model you want. So let me get to that real quick. First of all, the Stingray by Sturmanskie from their Ocean collection. The main difference you're going to see between any two models of the Stingray is going to be the ones that have the bars, like this one here. Okay, these protective bars across or cage bars across the front of the dial, or without. So it's really a matter of taste, which you prefer the look of. I like the bars myself. Not everybody likes those because they aren't removable like a lot of cages tend to be on dive watches. They are actually soldered into the case. I don't know if it's a soldering process, but they're actually on the case physically. They're not removable. So it's, one thing about having the cage bars is, of course, if you strike the front of the watch, you're less likely to do any damage with the bars being the first thing that's going to get hit, as opposed to a watch without them, like the one there on the left. So they can be good, especially if you're diving in rocky type situations, or just, for everyday use where you might run the risk of banging your watch against something. Now, I don't have every single style of the Stingray here today. There are a lot of them actually, but I will show you that I do have the full Lume without the cage bars. Again, you've seen this one before without the cage bars. You've had that. That's been out for a couple of years now. Now the first time ever with the cage bars, and this is the SKU number 907. You can always tell the unique number is the last three digits, and this is number 907 with the new one. And then don't have the non-cage barred version of this right now. This is the one with the green numerals and kind of the water droplet look on the dial, which I'm sure I'm not, well, there you can kind of see it. It's not that great in the video, but you can see the style on that. And then the other, and that, by the way, on the orange has that water droplet look. And then the packaging on this is just phenomenal, just unbelievable. I mean, it's just amazing packaging. And then this is arguably the most classic looking one, or more dressy looking one. Both the bezel and the dial have a look that's supposed to be reminiscent of the Stingray skin. And this has been an extremely popular one if you wanted to get a dive watch that gave you a little bit more of a dressy look. Now let me quickly go through the specs on this. I'm going to spend most of my time, I'll come back to the packaging in a minute. I'm going to spend most of my time with this one today because it is the newest one. And I know you guys have been waiting for this one, the guys who wanted the full Lume dial with the cage bars. First of all, it is a protected crown. You've got the crown protector on here. And that, again, is to help so that you don't potentially bang the crown, maybe possibly even change the time or anything like that while you're diving. And then it does have the sandwich rotating bezel, and I really like that on this. It's so cool. You got to look here. You can see it's sandwiched between two pieces of the case. This is an extremely complex case on the Stingray, and you can hear just how beautifully the clicks are on how smooth it is, how easy it is to grip here with the notches that are cut into it. And then you've got the lume on the dots, you've got the full lume dial, you've got the cage, and you've got the screw-in crown. This is a 47 millimeter watch. This is not a small time. So this is not a small timepiece. By the way, you're going to probably see that there's a really bad edit there. My camera ran out of memory, and I had to start. But I decided to splice these together than just starting all over from the beginning. So anyway, it's a good sized watch, 47 millimeter. That's not huge by today's standards. Certainly there are watches out there well over 50 millimeters. But 47 is a big watch. It's about 15 millimeters thick, which obviously is a pretty thick watch. But I will tell you, it wears really nicely on the wrist. I mean, it is nice and smooth. The way the lugs curve. I only have about a 7.5 inch wrist. I do not have a big wrist, and I can wear this watch no problem. Now, the watch does come with two straps. It's either going to come on the leather or it's going to come on the cathutic, which is one of those words I can never pronounce, but it really just means natural rubber. It's either, or it's going to come in the breathable natural leather with the breathable holes, which helps when things are shrinking down onto your wrist while you're out down there deep diving. But it's important to note that even though this is a 300 meter dive watch, which is a pretty serious dive watch. I mean, when you consider the 200 meter is professional grade, to be 300 meter, that's pretty serious water resistance. If you don't need that, if you're not a diver, so what? It's a reflection of how well the watch is made. I mean, you know, it just you don't get that kind of certified water resistance, you know, when you're testing a watch going out the door and telling people it's going to be a 300 meter watch or 30 ATM. You don't get that without, you know, some pretty serious quality construction in the case for it to hold up under those kinds of pressure conditions. One of the interesting things is the star on the crown does have superluminova, so it lights up as well. And again, this is the full lume dial with the cage bars, which has just come out, has not been released before. They all have the same really great etching on the case back. I love the case back on the Stingray. It is just so cool. Only 999, I believe, of each model or each dial is produced in limited edition. Again, extra thick, heavy duty leather strap, or it's going to come with the rubber strap as well for diving. And again, the packaging, you've got this look of the Stingray on the packaging, the port hole where you can see the watch through the hole. Then you've got, it does come with its own changing tool, and here's where the additional strap will be. The packaging on this watch is just phenomenal. I'm trying to think of any of the other things. It is an automatic. It's an NH35, which is the SII, a Japanese-built NH35 movement in this, just a bulletproof movement that just runs and runs and runs, and very accurate, just a solid movement for any timepiece. So it's automatic, so you don't need a battery, and if you wear it every day, you don't need to wind it. Of course, you can put this on a winder, and the NH35, I believe, is bidirectional, meaning you can wind it either way. You got the date at the 9 o'clock position. It is surgical grade stainless steel. All of them are surgical grade stainless steel. The only platings on the current ones are going to be platings that are inside the bezel here. And again, you're talking about a 300 meter professional dive watch. Sturmanskie has for many years made watches for the Russian Navy. They still do today, and for the Russian space program for cosmonauts. They are known for both their aeronautical, or let's say space travel watches, as well as fantastic watches for diving or water use. Again, Sturmanskie, the first watch in space on the wrist of Yuri Gagarin. I know this one's been a little long, but it's been since Basel 2015 that we did a video about the Stingray, so I felt like it was worth spending a little time on, showing you some of the features in more detail. It's got a beautiful sweep second on this. The lume on this is just fantastic. That sandwich dial with the, the sandwich case with the unidirectional rotating bezel with the lume on the triangle there, the screw-in crown, or actually the crown cover, or the crown protector, screw-in crown protector, the beautiful contours on the dials that aren't the Super Lume Nova. Of course, they're going to be, when they're full lume, they're going to be just slate with the full lume. It's just a really, really cool timepiece, and you get a lot for the money with the Sturmanskie Stingray. I'm Craig Hester with R2AWatches.com. Oh, 24 millimeter strap. Trying to get all those little details in there. It's a 24 millimeter, so it's easily changed out with something that's not original manufacturer's equipment if you want to put something else on there. And again, that's fantastic specialty case that it comes in. I'm Craig Hester with R2AWatches.com. This has been a video about the Sturmanskie Stingray 300 meter water resistant professional dive quality watch. Keep watching.